In Revelation 5, this is the why. I'm gonna break this passage down and then we'll sing a couple songs and be done. This is a vision that John's seen. He gets a glimpse into the heavenly reality. And it says, then I saw in the right hand of the one seated on the throne a scroll with writing on both sides, sealed with 7 seals. I also saw a mighty angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals? But no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth was able to open the scroll or even to look into it. I wept and wept because no one was found worthy to open the scroll or even to look into it. So clearly there's a problem here, right? What is this scroll? Someone can't open it. And John, the author of the book, is clearly disturbed by the fact that no one can open it. He's weeping these violet tears. This man who has been exiled to the island, he's weeping because no one's found worthy. What are these scrolls? And I don't have time to go into all the interpretations and things, but one of the, I think the simplest ways that I've heard it put by N.T. Wright, he says these scrolls are the blueprints of the new creation. That ever since the fall, God had a plan for creation. Ever since man rebelled, creation has been decreated. It has been, that's why you see chaos. That's why you see wars. That's why you see natural disasters. The undoing of the cosmos that was supposed to be life and flourishing and harmony. And you see fights and wars and strife. And no one is able to fix the problem. There is a new creation plan, but there is not a human that exists because the same sin that we see out there in broken systems and people, we also turn around and see in our own hearts. When we lose our crap on our family or we respond poorly to a situation or we find prejudice even in our own hearts, like we sit there and we say, I'm not worthy. I'm the one saying I'm unclean, woe is me. But then you continue reading and you hear one of the elders say to me, do not weep. Look, the Lion from the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has conquered so that he is able to open the scroll and its 7 seals. Then I saw one like a slaughtered lamb standing in the midst of the throne and the 4 living creatures and among the elders. He had 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent into the earth. This idea of 7 is the idea of completeness, fullness. And so you hear about this, you see this lion, look, and you see this lion that has conquered. He's a Messiah. Everyone reading this would have recognized it as the Messiah, the conquering king who has come from the line of David, Jesus, the Messiah. But in Revelation, it's interesting. You'll see this kind of seeing and hearing pattern where John will see one thing and then he'll hear something else and it brings more clarity and more focus to what he just saw. So he sees a conquering king that's smashed his enemies and can rule and reign. But then he looks and he sees a slaughtered lamb. And I mixed those up. He hears thing and then he looks and he sees a slaughtered lamb standing in the midst of the throne. So how does this king conquer? He conquers by sacrificing his own life. This is a king like no other. He's not looking for power or control. He was the sovereign God of the universe, but he becomes flesh in his incarnation. And he goes all the way to the cross for the sake of the world. It's always been the plan. It's not just in Revelation. Go read Genesis. It was always meant to be for God's glory to flood the earth. Abraham was going to be a blessing so that he could bless the nations. It was always the goal. And Jesus was the only one worthy to work out the blueprints of the new creation, to open them and get that project started. And he does that by dying on a cross for the sins of the world. And here's the beautiful thing. Because of his sacrifice, we are not worthy to open the scroll, but we get to play a part. You keep reading in Revelation. It says he took the scroll, the 4 living creatures, the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb. Each one had a harp and golden bowls filled with incense, which are the prayers of the saints. Your prayers are part of the work. They are being stored up right now to bring about the new creation project that God will bring healing to all nations. And the response of this, when they see this lamb open the scroll and the prayers of the saints, they all sing a new song. You are worthy to take the scroll and to open its seals because you, Jesus, were slaughtered and you purchased people for God by your blood from every tribe and language and people and nation. You made them a kingdom and priests to our God, and they will reign on the earth. The unworthy ones get to participate in the rule and reign of God. because he has purchased the people through his blood. And so this is the invitation, no matter who you are, no matter your ethnic background, cultural background, social background, no matter who you are, if you don't know Christ like this, if he's just some idea for you, or you think keeping some rules is gonna keep you in good graces, that's religion. That's not the gospel. That's not the good news of Jesus' life, death, burial, and resurrection. That says you can't earn anything. Come freely with nothing, based on grace alone, by faith alone, and receive his work. He has done the work. His blood has paid it all. You don't need to add to that. And in that, he not only offers you new life, he offers you participation in his rule and reign. We get to rule and reign with him. Your life is not meaningless. And yeah, for many of you, that's not moving overseas. Some of you, it might be. I don't think any of us need to assume it's not us. But at the same time, many of it's just like them living everyday, ordinary lives in a different cultural context. We're doing the same things. We're listening to the needs of our schools and our communities. We're listening to brokenness, even in our own city here in Decatur. And we're not just coming in with harsh judgment, but we're listening and trying to understand the cultural and the divides that exist between different communities, even here in our own city. And we're saying, how does the gospel speak good news and breathe life into this? And we do all this. And this is so important. If you don't take anything else away, please hear this. We do this because he is worthy. This is not like, people do need to hear, and that is a good, valid reason to go, but that will not keep you. There are needs that people have, but getting your heart kind of tugged on a nice video will not keep you there for 20 years. That's not going to. It has to be something greater. And we're not saying it's a failure if it's 2 years. This is the beautiful thing about this. We can give everything we have to something. And if from all earthly perspectives, it looks like a failure, because it's God's work, it's not. It is not a failure. And so we can go with confidence. He will do this work. All nations, tribes, and tongues will sing gathered around the throne in perfect harmony. And we will build kingdoms and rule and reign with God for eternity in perfect harmony, all as worship because he is worthy. As one person has said, missions exist because there's places where worship still doesn't. Missions will cease one day. There will be no more calling people to repent. There will only be life and beauty, and worship will go for eternity. So that is our primary goal.